What's up, everybody? We're back. What's up, everybody? Back with another episode of I Got Next. I'm Ant. You see my boy AG. And joining us tonight, we got my homie, close friend, MC Bravado. What's up, Bravado? How you doing, bro?
Happy to be here, boys. Happy to be here.
You've been working on a lot of stuff, man, right? You've been working some 16-hour days, I've been hearing, putting in that work.
Man, everything is fire right now. I'm about to have a 4-project year. I'll be in Austin, Texas for South by Southwest for about 2 weeks, participating on the EDU side and the Music Week side, and just doing this intersection of hip hop and education thing that we've been doing. So I'm very hyped about that.
Dope. That's dope, bro. That's good to hear, man. It's always good to be busy with good problems, but they can often be a little bit overwhelming. So I'm glad you could join us. As you can see, everybody chat. Yeah, right. Gotta go. The boomers are not with us tonight. Chad had some stuff going on. Jonesy will be joining us in a little while. He's just running a little bit late. So we're going to talk about the NFL playoffs. Dope weekend of football, man. You know, one of the best I've seen since I've been alive.
Hell yeah, bro! All four games ended on the last play. You can't ask for anything better than that as a fan of the sport, you know.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. But before we dive in, yeah, right. Unless you're a lot of heartbreaks too, man. But before we dive into that, you know, me and Bravado are huge basketball fans. AG's a huge basketball fan as well. Bravado's a huge Bulls fan, and you guys just suffered some terrible injuries, man. So give us your thoughts on the Grayson Allen injury. Calls to Caruso. What do you think about that? Do you think it was a dirty play? You thought it just happened?
I think when you're Grayson Allen, it stops just happening after a while. You know,
that ship has sailed. Huh?
That ship has sailed. I'm only about 6'1". I don't get to the gym as often as I would like, but Grayson, if you're watching, I'll fight you for charity. Yours versus mine. No steroid testing. I'll get ready. Give me 60 days. I'll see you in the squared circle, you punk.
Yeah, man. That was it's so weird with basketball, man. Like, I've been a victim of going up for a layup and getting killed too. But when it happened to me, like, the kid honestly blocked the ball, but he just blocked me through my body, and I just happened to land on my back. It was very painful. So anytime you just go to the rim, it is dangerous, right? Especially, you know, old school basketball 80s and 90s. They were just throwing clotheslines out there, bro. But like, it just sucks to see that, man, especially with the Bulls. You know, they've been rolling lately. Everybody's been shocked by them this year. I don't know if you have, but when they assembled that team originally, I thought they were going to be extremely good because I've always been a fan of Lonzo Ball. I just thought he had some unfortunate circumstances being part of the LeBron project on the Lakers, and then he went to the Pelicans. And let's be real, New Orleans Pelicans, like, that organization is a mess, as you could see with the whole Zion thing, Brandon Ingram. But it just sucks, bro. You know, who else did you guys just lose besides Caruso?
It's been like Lonzo's out. Lonzo's out right now. I mean, Zach was out for a bit with COVID, you know, protocols. We got some role players that have been out, but like, honestly, like, walking back the Caruso thing, I don't think it was that dirty of a play. I think, like, it's just Grayson Allen's body of work, you know what I mean, is why people are going to go in that direction. But there are bright spots with the Bulls. Like, despite all this, like, Io is one of the best rookies going, and like, clearly going to be a cornerstone for the franchise going forward. It's kind of one of those deals where, like, as much as I like Kobe White, I think, like, Io's play and future, if at the deadline something comes up, you pull the trigger, because you've got, between Ball, Caruso, Io, Kobe, you could ship one, and it's probably Kobe. And as far as the offseason went, yeah, a lot of people really slept on us. But it's what you said. Like, anyone who's watched sports for long enough knows those circumstantial things. Like, to the casuals, it might look bad, but the idea that Caruso is actually a really good player, or that DeRozan really reinvented himself under Pop, as a creator, and kind of took another step. But he was playing in San Antonio on a Spurs team that wasn't that good, so it flew under the radar.
Yeah, it flew way
I
under
knew
the
we were going to
radar.
be pretty good. I really did.
Yeah, man, that's dope. AG, what'd you think of the Caruso play? Do you think it was dirty or?
I actually didn't see the play. I saw that Grayson Allen got suspended, I think, right? But I didn't see the play. Well, it sounds like it was just a pointless contact in the air on a layup or something. It sounds like.
Yeah, he was going hard to the rim, man. Like whether he was going to dunk it or just go for like a two-hand finish. And he was coming this way, and Grayson was coming this way, and just kind of, he just tried to make a play on the ball, but he ended up getting like both of his wrists.
So he actually tried to make a play on the ball, though. That's
bro. It wasn't his prior.
Grayson Allen,
It wasn't his prior tripping.
Step in the right direction. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, the NBA, obviously thought it was enough to suspend him, but I do like MC Rivado's point there about how it might be his track record kind of playing into how everybody's looking at this. Again, I didn't see the play though, so I can't really speak on it in terms of if that's right or not. But yeah.
I didn't see. My thing was, okay, if you're going to call it a dirty play, that's fine, suspended. But there was a similar play in the Lakers game with Townhorn Tucker where he did the same exact thing. I forget who he did it to. And he went airborne. It was like almost the same play. He just didn't break his wrist. So I'm like, how come he doesn't get suspended? Because he didn't break his wrist? So I don't know. When it's stuff like that, I feel like the NBA was probably just covering their tracks, like because Twitter was blowing up. And it's Grayson Allen, so he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Well, and that's something that happens. That's something that happens kind of often with like just the impact of the play affecting if the ref blows the whistle or not. Like you could see a clear foul, but the guy lands it, they probably won't call it. Same play, but the guy falls on his back, they're going to blow that late whistle. You know what I mean? So I mean that happens too with even just the refs.
Man. Yeah, that's the human element, still kind of in play for sure.
Yeah, man. But what do you guys think about the Lakers too? Because I don't know, man. Like everybody, like we said, me and Bravado just said it before, right? Like when you're constructing a team, you need those glue guys like Lonzo and Caruso. And the preseason, nobody was paying attention to the Bulls. Everybody was fantasizing over the Lakers. They got Melo, they got Bron, they got Russ, they got all this star power, they got AD. It hasn't been working, They're like a sub 500 team right now, barely 500. Do you think they could bounce back? I personally think Russ is going to eventually, because when you're down, bro, like the only way you can go is back up, and he's down right now.
Yeah.
And we've seen it in the past couple of years when he was on the Rockets and when he was on the Wizards. Later in the season, he bounced back and showed that spark. Do you think it's going to come back?
I think it could. I think I would hope with AD back, that things start to kind of click in that direction. LeBron's having a great year, like, kind of like he always does, but there is that element of like, unless you construct the roster really properly, like, is he the easiest guy to play with at this stage in his career? I don't really think so. And it's not, people call me a hater for calling him the second greatest player to ever pick up a fucking basketball. He's phenomenal, but at this age, unless you really like, it's kind of always really been like that though. I mean, look at Kevin Love. Look what happened to Kevin Love when he went from Minnesota to Cleveland. Like, he was a key contributor there, but he wasn't the guy, the world ender that he was on the Wolves. He was a great player on the Wolves. And it's like, I think
30 and 25 on any given night on the Wolves, man. He was a dog.
So I don't know. I think they can. If I'm a betting man, I'm going to say they're going to figure it out, and they're going to be a tough out because you have LeBron and AD, and like you said, you're entirely right about Russ. Like, he eventually recants and like is like, okay, this is what I have to do. I guess I'm not the alpha. Like, everyone could have told you you're not the alpha, but he needs to see it and feel it. And so I'd bet on them being, getting into the playoff picture and maybe second round. I don't know. We'll see.
Like you said, man, in those prior LeBron teams where he won the championship, he was surrounded by a very good second player, like every, championship team needs. When he was on the Heat, he had D Wade and obviously Bosh. But those Heat teams, they spread out the floor so well with all those shooters. The same thing with those Cavs teams. They didn't have as many shooters, but they had Kyle Korver, they had J.R. Smith, Kevin Love was, supposed to be a shooter on that team.
Yeah, right. The first round,
Exactly. Even Channing Frye.
Shooters, though. Yeah.
Always had shooters. This Lakers team, they have people who could hit outside shots, but they don't have
they're not shooters.
any knockdown shooters.
Nobody on that
every
defense
given night is.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say nobody on the defense is going out there and saying I got shooter with the Lakers. You know what I mean? They're playing matchups, but
exactly.
It's extremely you got to look out for there.
It's extremely volatile. Like they're extremely volatile offense. And we've seen the nights where they look incredible, and then we've seen nights where it's like, dude, you're struggling to run any type of offense. So I think it's going to be interesting. But we'll see. We'll see if they make any moves before the trade deadline. Yeah. The NBA trade deadline is also a super fun time. Mm-hmm. And then the All-Star break, sometimes you literally just need a break in order to bounce back. So we'll see how it goes, man.
I think they'll get better as they keep playing together, but I'm not surprised by their lack of success so far. You brought in all those new pieces, like you said. If you're not building the right roster around LeBron, it's not going to work. He doesn't have his shooters, like Ant was just saying. But even with, everybody was hype. Oh, yeah, they're bringing in Russ. They're bringing in Melo, Dwight Howard back, all these players, all these names. But it's just names on paper. None of that sounded like it was going to work and mesh well together. You got 3 ball-dominant guys you just brought in, and then Anthony Davis, who isn't just let me post up. Like, he wants the ball in the arc, too. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was going to work. And AD, he's been fragile lately. So, it all depends on him being healthy also. I think he's coming back tonight, I think. But, yeah, I'm not really surprised by it. I think they do get better and they will be a tough out in the playoffs. It's LeBron. He'll turn up. You know what I mean? They'll make things happen. But they don't even look like they're engaged on defense and stuff like that. Like, they're breezing through the regular season right now. They really – it doesn't seem like they care much. But I saw it coming. I didn't think they were going to be anything too special this year.
No, same. It's exactly what they're cruising and they don't have the luxury to cruise like they normally do. And, Malik Monk to me is a interesting piece. And I feel like if he consistently got the opportunity to get going, that could prove fruitful because he has all the tools to be like an impact guy. But I think as the roster is currently constructed with that many alphas, he's not going to he needs consistent opportunity to come into his own. And that's on coaching to like make sure that happens. And with those egos, easier said than done, So like, I don't know. Like, I think some of the answers are right there, but they definitely got to make some moves at the deadline for sure. And nobody's taking on Russ, so they got to figure something else out.
Yeah, man. I mean, they're definitely in an interesting situation with that. He's got like 3 years or maybe even 4 years left on his contract, man. But they got to figure something out. And of course, you got the added pressure. The Lakers are over in 2012. That's a fact.
That's a fact. Of course, you look at that roster in 2012, bro.
Dominant.
They're going what?
They're going, man.
They're beating the Warriors record. They're beating the Warriors record.
10 years too late, man. 10 years too late. But the added pressure of being in Los Angeles, obviously LeBron is going to have the spotlight on him as well. So it's a tough situation. But before we navigate to our next subject, just want to give a shout out to our supporters, man. Tasha Kayleen, always tuning in.
Hell yeah.
One of our contributors, Rob, Jalen, second show that he's joined us. Appreciate you tuning in. Steph, my man Steph, what's up? And of course, Jabari, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in, man.
Hell yeah, yo, thanks guys. We appreciate it. Means everything,
But our next topic, obviously, you guys seen the thumbnail. We want to talk about the NFL and the overtime rules because let's be real, that was one of the best football games that I've ever seen. I don't know about you guys, man, but like I just couldn't believe the last 2 minutes of the ball game. It was unbelievable. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this game's over. The Chiefs got it. Oh, wait a minute. The Bills got it. Oh, wait a minute. The Chiefs got it. Just going back and forth, bro. Like, have you guys ever seen a game like that?
I don't think I have. And, I've been around a while, not to disclose the age, but I don't think I've seen anything quite like that. And as a football fan, I'm even more excited because we should, barring injuries or something crazy happen, we should see those two go to battle. Like they're going to have to go through each other probably like 5 more times, even regardless of how loaded things are and how things shake out. You got to think they're going to see each other quite a bit. So I'm excited for that. And it just shows like what an elite quarterback does, and how far away they seem to be from the field right now.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. Like, and it's, I think the future is in very good hands, around the league between
Absolutely.
those two. We got Joe Burrow now. What is this? His second year?
Yep.
Second year in the league.
First full season too. He got hurt last year.
Yeah, first full season, man. And this is coming off an ACL tear, which is like crazy to even think about, like modern medicine and just how he bounced back like that. We got Lamar Jackson as well, bro. All these young guys coming in, man.
And Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert only missed the playoffs because his coach wanted to call a timeout. You know what I mean? We would have saw him,
man. It's crazy, bro. So the future of the NFL is in good hands, especially especially because in the past we've always seen, especially in the AFC, like it's pretty much been the Tom Brady show. And then, of course, there's been a couple outliers here and there. What up, Jonesy?
What's going on?
Nah, Jonesy's been timed out for a few minutes because he showed up late. Remember 2 weeks ago? No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing, Jonesy.
Yeah, all right. Now that's more like it. Like I was saying, right?
Nah, Jay, but we just talked about the NBA a little bit. We were just talking about the Bulls and Lakers. Obviously, Bravado being a Bulls fan. We just moved on to our topic of the night is the NFL. We talk about one of the best NFL games we've ever seen. But the overtime rules, there's been a lot of controversy behind that, right? Some people are a fan of it and some people are not. Me personally, I don't know. I think the rules got to change, man. It just seemed like it just seems so crazy. Before I let you guys speak, I just want to give my 2 cents. It just seems so crazy that like the flip of a coin is going to decide who's going to win this game because both the dudes were on fire. It literally just came up to luck at that point. You had a 50-50 chance of who was going to win the game. Not get the ball, who was going to win the game because both those defenses were gassed, But that's my 2 cents. Bravado, what do you think of the OT rules?
Yeah, I think they need to change. I mean, I've heard a few interesting propositions. I was listening to Bill Simmons' podcast the other day, and somebody proposed, I think it was like Cousins. I forget if it was Cousin Sal or him. They were saying like, and maybe this is a little too game show-ish, but it's like however many plays it takes the one team, if they score a touchdown, the other team has that many plays to get in the end zone. Some kind of redemptive shot that also rewards the one team for moving down the field and getting it done. I think that's an interesting proposition. I don't know how it looks in practice, but I do feel with that both of those, I've never really walked away from a playoff game thinking both of those guys deserve to win that much. I didn't feel great about it, as great as the game was. So I would like to see something shift, and I think that's a cool idea. But that's kind of my thought on it.
You know what? The Kansas City Chiefs should have never been in a position to even have the chance to play overtime. The fact that they didn't squib kick the ball with 13 seconds left on the clock is embarrassing, right? And then two, you play a fence post defense to try to guard the sidelines when there's only fucking 13 seconds on the clock and leave the middle of the field open and throw the ball to the fastest guy in the fucking league. They dumped it off and got 29 yards in 2 seconds. This is a guy that's so fast that when they threw the touchdown to him earlier in the game, the guy was ahead of him and he waved peace to him before he got to him and then ran past him. I never seen anybody as fast as Tyreek Hill. And
I wish I was that cool, bro.
Yeah, bro, he goes like this. The dude is 4 yards in front of him. He goes like this and just disappears. Then you got fucking Travis Kelce that gets released unchecked. This guy is the best in-space tight end since Tony Gonzalez. Bar none. I'm talking about in space. You got guys that are freak of natures and stuff like that, but I don't think Travis Kelce's that. Travis Kelce just gets in those creases and he gets those completions. Yeah, you cannot let him release off the line without any contact, especially with that much time. So if you ask me, I think too much has made it this overtime thing because what you'll have is with them two fucking guys, they would have been playing at 1:30 in the morning. Like, if you're going to go score for score, you got to get to a point where it's just like, okay, this is it. This is the National Football League. That's it.
It's tough to argue.
I don't know, man. Like, this is my thing, right? Let's look at a different sport. Like, if we went to overtime in basketball, would it be fair if we went sudden death? I don't believe so. Maybe after like 20 minutes of overtime, if there was like 10 overtimes, and it's like, all right, guys, I'm sick of this. Let's go sudden death. That's a different story. But like, if we went to sudden death in the NBA, first team to score, like, I just think that would be stupid. Same thing in baseball. Like, yes, you can have a walk-off home run, but that's after the other team already had an opportunity to get at bat as well. The visiting team gets an opportunity, and then the home team gets an opportunity. Why is it different in football where we go by the coin toss? Now I get it. People are like, oh, they're just going to keep on scoring and scoring and scoring. Eventually, somebody's not going to score. So that's my thing. That's my thought process behind it. And like you said, they shouldn't be in the position to score in the first place. The Chiefs, that game should have been over with. Yeah. But sports are crazy. Things happen.
Yeah, Jonesy's 100% right that, it shouldn't have got to that point in the first place. The Bills should have won it in regulation. It should have never got there. But I'm with Ann on this one. Both teams should touch the ball regardless of the fact, even if the other team messed up and, they lost now because of it. But they should have been able to touch the rock. Since the current overtime rules, there's been 11 playoff games that reached overtime. In those 11 games, the teams that won the toss are 10-1, and 7 of those 10 winners won it on the opening drive. So that's 7 teams that didn't even get to touch the rock right there in the playoffs where it matters most. And you got your best offenses usually playing, entertaining the fans and everything. And you don't give Josh Allen a chance with the rock. It wasn't his fault that the defense just messed up there. And he was playing lights out all playoffs. I just would have liked to see both teams at least touch the rock. If he goes out there and he doesn't score, there's no debate. You know what I mean? If he actually has the chance.
Speaking of touching the ball, I wish that official in the Cowboys 49ers game would have ran as fast as Tyreek Hill to touch the ball. Here nor there.
Yeah, man. I mean, that game was crazy as well, bro. I don't think the Cowboys should have deserved to have that chance. If there's a team that did not deserve, I think it's them because, first of all, they have too many offensive weapons to not be winning that game, bro. How do you give CeeDee Lamb 1 target throughout the entire game? Like, it's just ridiculous. If I'm
bad
that
quarterback
team,
play.
Bro, it's just terrible, man. But like you said, Jay, before, it's crazy how, Travis Kelce got untouched, was wide open. Like, I get it. You're trying to make a play, but the Bills also rushed 4 people. Why are you rushing 4 people? You should be rushing like 2 people and dropping everybody back so they don't have an opportunity to catch the ball. And that reminds me of the Rams and the Bucs game as well. How does Cooper Kupp not get checked at the line 2 plays in a row, bro? The best, arguably the best receiver in football right now. How does he not get checked, bro? Untouched.
You know what, man? I have to disagree a little bit. I think the difference between what happened with I'm sorry. The difference between what happened in this one and what happened with there is you had so many guys that were injured that they really couldn't play. You had both their corners go down. Hey fellas, hold, let me drop it. I got a little emergency at the house. I'm gonna drop out.
All right, do what you got to do, man. No worries. Yeah, man. But I mean, it's just been it was just a wild weekend, bro. But me personally, with the overtime rules, I just don't like the fact that it was decided by the coin toss. Like, Josh Allen nearly played a perfect game.
He played perfect postseason.
Near perfect game, bro. His postseason was ridiculous. He killed the Patriots.
Bro, 14 incompletions and 9 touchdowns in the postseason.
Those are ridiculous.
I wanted to see him play offense again, man, at least once. We could go sudden death after that. That's fine.
Exactly. Now, Bravado, you said, and I also listened to that podcast, and I think that was interesting. I've heard some people say it should be a field goal contest. I don't agree with that. I think the field goal contest would be stupid. No. Nobody wants to watch that.
Yeah, it's not soccer at the end. I mean, it's our football for a reason. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's American football for a reason.
Exactly.
But I like the way that college does it, right? Where does college line up to 25, and they basically each team goes and until one team doesn't score. Yeah. I wouldn't want to do it at the 25 in the NFL because people are too good, and at that point in the game, the defense is gassed. But I think that we could do something like that. Maybe line up at like the 50 and go from there. That's kind of different.
I think we were on the same page pretty much, and with when I wrote the article, we kind of discussed it before I did, and that's pretty much what I said. And take the game clock out of it. Just go until the team wins.
So you're going to turn
That's
into
pretty
college
cool.
football at that point, then.
We said
is
similar
the
to college
argument against
football.
it. Yeah, that is the argument
But
against
started from not started. Where did they start in college football? The 20? Is that correct?
Yeah,
The 25?
I believe. Yeah, either the 20
I would
or
back
the
it up to the
25.
50.
It's close.
Bro, look, at the end of the day, you got to have a winner, you got to have a loser, and you got to have yourself in a position where you don't put your team into a situation where, it goes to overtime. You got to stop somebody, and nobody stopped anybody that game, and we got one of the great games of all time. And that's just that's just how I feel about it. I can't see us tinkering around with the National Football League as much as we already have. The spirit of the game and the play has been changed. And really, to be honest with you, the fact that defenders can't touch the quarterback and that you really can't play physical, you can't hit anybody and knock them out of the game. That's the reason why we have all of this craziness going on now. Like what the NFL has done with the way that guys have to play defense is they've given bad quarterback play a out, because, years ago, you can't throw the ball over the middle and get a guy fucking set up and get him knocked out of the game. Because if you throw that ball over the middle, Tom Brady talked about this. He said, listen, when I first started in the league, I knew I had small receivers, David Patton and Givens and all them guys. He says, I wasn't going to throw the ball over the middle unless my guy was open. I wasn't going to set him up to have Ray Lewis or Ed Reed or one of them guys knock one of my guys out of the game. He goes, Ray Lewis, it will knock you out of the game. So I know I wasn't going to throw that pass, right? Now you have bad quarterbacks that'll just fucking fling that shit up there and get their guy knocked out of the game. And, not knocked out of the game, get their guy, get a flag. And then that's what we are right now. You know what I mean? So I think the NFL is they're making it so easy for bad quarterbacks to stay around the league and bad schemes and bad play calling to stay around the league. And they just keep penalizing the defense. And guys are getting bigger, stronger, and faster. You can't stay with these fucking guys. You can't touch them. You can't hit them. You hit them too hard to knock them out of the game. Then you get fucking penalized for it. So I think that's why we are where we are at this point.
And what you just said is why people like Jimmy G could be cocky.
Yep. Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't make it. Bro, he wouldn't fucking make it. He wouldn't make it a season 10, 15 years ago. They would have picked him up and T-Bone slammed him on his fucking head. Seriously. Or like even Patty Mahomes. Yeah, he's talented and everything like that. But can you imagine back in the days of Lawrence Taylor, if a guy like that was just running around, he throws some little fucking underhand pass. Lawrence Taylor knocked the living shit out of that guy, man. They don't let quarterbacks get touched, man. And now you got guys that are 1-2 years in the league. They're big, they're strong, they can throw the ball hard, and it's like they can't get touched. They're not getting hit after the play. Their uniforms, their jerseys are clean, so they don't have those jitters that Boomer Esiason used to have, that John Elway used to have. I mean, even though they played well right off the bat, the Dan Marinos of the world, because, they had shit to worry about even after they completed the pass.
Yeah.
That's a different mindset that you have to play with. So I don't know, man. Like the NFL, they need to find a happy medium in between CTE and just it being flag football.
Yeah, no, those are good points right there. Definitely good point. It sounds like you're making a point to the discussion we were going to have next with the quarterbacks, the new era quarterbacks being compared to the old era. And I don't know, you kind of sold me a little bit there. That's a good point there. You're playing with a completely different mindset right now in this NFL. But it does make it a lot easier to succeed.
Why I think this is a straw man argument? This is a straw man argument because, like we were talking amongst ourselves for our listeners, and everybody was like, oh, it's a boomer take. It's not. Like, the season's not even over yet. We don't know how far Joe Burrow's going to go. We just assuming that he's going to lose to the Chiefs, right? So if Joe Burrow goes all the way to the Super Bowl and wins it in his second year playing, then that's another conversation. That's a referendum on this whole quarterback class. But if we're going to labor into the fact that Joe Burrow is going to the second or third round of playoffs, Justin Herbert didn't make it yet, Lamar Jackson was hurt all fucking year, we can't really talk about comparing them to the Peyton Mannings and the Tom Brady's of the world, back then when they were younger. Because, Ben Roethlisberger was in a Super Bowl his second year. His rookie year, he was 14-1. How many years did it take for Brady to get to the bowl? Like 2 or 3? It's a different conversation.
Patty was there his second year starting too.
See,
yeah, but he's the only one that's successful.
That's one out of the I got you. That's one out of that list. I hear you.
I can definitely appreciate that, man, too, because even as good as Russell Wilson has been in his career, you remember when his first couple years in the league, people were saying he was about to be, the greatest quarterback of all time potentially because, they won the Super Bowl. He was playing amazing. That team was ridiculous, man. But like, look how his career has played out, right? Like he got to what, 2 Super Bowls? The second one, they lost to the Patriots. So I guess he probably should have 2 Super Bowls, but he doesn't. He only has 1. Sports are a wild thing. But people were acting like this guy was going to win 6, 7, 8 Super Bowls, bro. But as you can see, things happen, man. And the same thing, I think we can all agree Patty Mahomes is, a unique talent, something we've never seen before, or, he's special. He's special at the end of the day. But like people just have these strong opinions way too early.
Bro, you got to look at some of the shit that we deal with in today's media. I had a guy today tell me that Lamar Jackson, like, listen, I'm a huge Raider fan, right? But I had somebody tell me that Lamar Jackson isn't that good. And I'm like, why the fuck? That guy threw 36 touchdowns and ran for 7 last year, had 3,100 yards. The fucking guy played. The guy is an amazing talent, right? And people forget just because he gets hurt. So now let's extrapolate that into Lamar Jackson being a running quarterback, and then it happens year after year after year. Now this argument you can throw to the garbage.
This is the first year he missed a game for injury.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything else has been sickness. That's just an
Lamar
assumption
Jackson,
that he gets hurt a lot. That only happened this year.
That's actually the guy who you can put next to Patrick Mahomes as far as accomplishments, because he's the only one that's won an MVP. Let's talk about that. Like a Josh Allen. When you talk about a Josh Allen, he's been playing really, really great. And I think that, when it's all said and done, he might get a championship. But, in Buffalo, the way they're currently constituted, them winning games is predicated off of him being special every game, him getting his ass kicked every game and running like a goddamn fullback. And it reminds me of Cam Newton. It's only going to last for a couple of years, and he's going to be broke down too. So I can't foresee any of these guys climbing to the heights of a Brady and a Manning and a Phillip Rivers and a Ben Roethlisberger. And you know what? You can't forget about Eli Manning either. I'm not saying he was on their levels of greatness, but he was a winner, man. And he threw, so I personally, I can't see it.
Can you take this same thought process and apply it to 90s NBA?
No.
Versus right now? No. Next time we have that conversation.
No. Not even a little bit.
Oh man.
Good to see you though.
Not even a little bit.
I can't wait for that discussion, man. We're gonna have to keep that a whole separate episode.
You talk about Lamar Jackson in Baltimore like that, you're gonna have an issue. Like, people love him here, rightfully so. He's phenomenal, and he recency bias kind of crazy in that situation, but he'll have something for that next year for sure.
Yeah, man. Everybody's prisoners of the moment.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
that's
now,
almost what that take is that that we're arguing right now with the new age quarterbacks. I'm a prisoner of the moment for agreeing with that, and you're opening my eyes to that because you're making some really good points here. So.
Yeah, listen, I don't mean to be the boomer, and I'm not saying like I just feel like the style of play right now is set up for quarterback play, and it's just and it's the same thing like what Bravado's saying about the NBA. You have some guys that are in the NBA right now that are going crazy that probably wouldn't. I don't like to talk about the NBA because the styles of plays in each generation is so much different.
So different.
It's very few players in any generation that you could just take them and place them in any generation and they'll be fine. If you talk about the beginning, because we can't go back to the Dolph Shays era, the fucking George Mikan era. Let's forget about that, right? We're gonna go from Russell and Chamberlain up. Russell, could he play in today's NBA? He'd probably be a 6th man in today's NBA. He probably wouldn't start, right? Could you take Will Chamberlain and drop him in any era? Yep. In any era, he's dominant. Any era, he's a freak of nature, right? Then you go to the 70s. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dr. J. Dr. J only had one hand. But could you take Earl of Pearl to put him in today's NBA? I think he could. And Dr. J was so athletic, he probably could. But Dr. J's athleticism doesn't look the same in this era because you needed a Dr. J to get to the point that we're at now, right? So, okay, then you go to the 80s. Listen, man, Bird can definitely play in today's NBA, right? Magic can definitely play in today's NBA. There's a couple of guys that can play, but it's not a whole lot that can play in today's NBA. 90s, Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. I mean, Jesus Christ, he could play in any era, right? But there's not a whole lot of guys in the 90s that I don't think Kevin Willis and Charles Oakley is playing today. I don't think they're effective today. I mean, is Karl Malone effective today?
I think Malone would, as athletic and as strong as he was and stuff, I think he probably develops the jumper from a little further out and is a little leaner. And even you mentioned Russell. I think Russell becomes like a Draymond on steroids kind of thing. Like, I think certain guys are such winners that it doesn't matter. A guy I really think would be interesting to put in today's era from the 90s would have been like a Tony Kukoc, like a 6'10" guy that back then was pushing the ball up the floor.
The Croatian sensation.
Huh?
Croatian sensation.
The waiter. Yeah. No, you're right though. You're right. A lot of this stuff. I'm busting your chops with the comment.
Because I think you're right. Talk about the GOAT talk.
Only the best can, like you said, can be dropped into every single era and still thrive. So
look, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Listen, it's not that I don't think Michael Jordan is quite possibly the greatest player of all time, but there's an argument. Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. There's an argument, and I don't even talk about LeBron James. My argument is how come his 6 rings and less points are better than Kareem's? Why? Kareem, who's had a better career from high school through college to the NBA than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? You can't name the person.
If you're talking overall basketball body of work, yeah, it's, I judge, like, when I say GOAT, I take because then with what you said, I could inject, like, not all the way into the argument, but then like Pete Maravich is higher on all-time lists and things like that. Like, I judge NBA greatness or GOAT conversations by what they did in the NBA. Because there's just too many guys that, like a Maravich and other people of that ilk, that were like absolutely unreal in college. Christian Laettner, unreal in college. Like, I don't count, like, not that it doesn't matter, but in a GOAT debate, I take the NBA thing. And I think
Well, NBA, let's talk about Kareem, right? 6 rings, one with 2 different teams. When he retired, was 3rd in blocks. He's number 1 all time in points. He's in the top 10 in rebounds. I mean, he was in an era where the big man reigned supreme. An era where they took the air out of the basketball, and if you come to the basket like that, you're gonna get knocked the fuck out of the air. So that's the thing we got to look at. Like, the lane isn't wide open. You don't have all of these guys that are playing this European style with no big men clogging up the middle. You know what I mean? So, like, if the league stays like that and they don't institute the Jordan rules, they don't institute flagrant 1s and 2s and throwing guys out of games and make the game more open to let Michael Jordan's talent shine, does Michael Jordan win? Because
I think on the Kareem conversation, how many of those rings was he undisputed? Also, like, you got to bring Magic into the conversation. How many of those Kareem rings was he the undisputed alpha?
He was
Mike
always
was undisputed alpha on all 6. Better advanced statistics. If you look at his numbers for a guard, and you compare them to LeBron as a small forward or Kareem as a center, Mike's more dominant, like, per game, and then you bringing per and all those win shares, all those advanced statistics into it. Offense and defense.
I can't look at it.
See, man, the tough thing about the NBA is, bro, era by era, literally every single era is a different style of play, bro. There's so many different advanced statistics, man. There's so many different variables. There's so many different. You got to factor in the coaching. You got to factor in the competition at the time. I feel like when we have this discussion at the NBA and the GOAT talks and the best of all times, which players you could pull and plug into different eras, bro, like, I feel like as at least if you can put yourself and defend your argument, I'm willing to listen, bro. I'm willing to listen. If you want to say LeBron is the best of all time, I'm willing to listen. If you want to say Jordan's the best of all time, I'm willing to listen. If you want to say Kobe's the best of all time, I'm willing to listen. If you want to say Kareem, I'm willing to listen. You want to say Shaq? I'm willing to listen, bro.
Yeah, like, my thing is that, Kareem, as far as from a scoring perspective and a defensive perspective and all of that, from the first few championships, he was the guy who used to close them games out. Like, Magic Johnson is a great player, but we got to look at it from this perspective. Magic never won when Kareem left. You know what I mean? Like,
he was the best player for 2 of them, though.
Magic?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and not for nothing, they were in more. You know what I mean? Like, because they lost a few. They won 5 and they were in Moore's finals. They lost this. They win the finals. Like, bravado. That's the thing I hate about this shit. Like, people just forget that, yo, those teams back in the day, it was more, it was harder to get through. That's the reason why Jordan struggled in the beginning of his career. Those teams were put together because you didn't have a salary cap. You didn't have fucking a draft lottery. The Lakers and the Celtics and the big teams used to fleece everybody for their picks. And then teams, when they were in financial trouble before Bird and Magic saved the NBA, used to give all of their great players to the Lakers and the Celtics. So it's like, bro, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. But what I will say is that if you put Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan as a finished product with the guys that they had, and you put them in the 80s with that style of play, are we certain that they beat the Lakers?
Let me ask this. Who else has been there's two things. One, when he got going in the 80s and he's a scoring champion and a defensive player of the year in the same season.
Yeah.
The rest of the league is already saying as soon as the help arrives, it's a wrap. Like as soon as this becomes a finished thing, it's a wrap. That's number one. Number two, there's really nobody else that's been, whether you're talking scoring champion, advanced statistics, arguably the best scorer and the best defensive player for an entire decade. That's never, and that dominant as the undisputed alpha when it matters, winning time, most clutch, that it's the totality of all those things that changes the argument to me. I don't know. For a decade, never.
I don't know, because, you know, what we got to look at is you got guys like Wilt Chamberlain, who the NBA schematically changed the rule book. They changed everything about the NBA to stop this guy. They changed the rules to stop Shaquille O'Neal. They changed the rules to help Michael Jordan. Let's be clear on that. They changed the rules to help him, and not for nothing. This is the only era in basketball where you have as many expansion teams that came in, you have a draft lottery, and you have, you know, free agency coming in for the first time. So we don't know what we have in different. I don't like this whole, like, and Michael Jordan himself says, he goes, you know, I don't like when people say I'm the greatest of all time. He goes, how can I be the greatest of all time? I never played against Wilt. I never played against Jerry West. He goes, I think it's different eras. Michael Jordan himself says this. He goes, I can't just say I'm better than Jerry West. I never played against him.
But
I can't say I'm.
No hand checking didn't come until after he was done with the Bulls, though. Those rules didn't happen. Those rules, that's a common misnomer. They didn't help him. Those rules came in after he retired the second time to create more hymns.
Yeah,
and to make perimeter players more conducive to dominating today. He played with the rules didn't change until after he retired in '98.
Well, the rules changed as far as flagrants and throwing guys out of the game and all of that kind of stuff, because that was the kind of play in the NBA. That's why you know David Thompson, when he's in the ABA, yeah, he'd come to the basket, but he wasn't coming with reckless abandon all the time, because when you had all of the monsters in the league at that time, they were knocking your ass out. And that's what was happening during the Piston years. You know, they would collapse the lane. The Pistons got old. He finally overcame them. But, bro, listen, I'm never going to say Michael's not the greatest of his era, but I don't think that if somebody comes to me and says Kareem is the greatest player of all time, I can listen to that, bro.
I'll listen too, but Isaiah and Dumars were like 31 when the Bulls won. The Bulls won when Scottie stopped getting headaches. The Pistons weren't old. Pippen just stopped coming down.
Them guys were done. Not Joe Dumars. Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer and all of those guys were done at that point. And it's not age, bro. It's like in boxing. You could be 25 years old and you could have 100 fights. The Pistons had 100 fights, bro. They had the Pistons were playing in the playoffs from pillar to post every year. They played that physical play. They were a team that got the most out of everything they had. What happened was the league changed the way that they played and were able to win. Once the league stopped letting them goon everybody out, then it was like it's a talent thing. So now we're talking a talent thing. You can't beat the Bulls with talent.
Isaiah and Dumars were all-stars through like 93, 94, though.
Yeah, those weren't the guys who set the table for their defense. I'm talking about the Rick Mahorns of the world.
We're gonna be here all day.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna stop. I'm just saying the Rick Mahorns of the world, yeah, they're done. Like the Bill Laimbeer of the world, they're done when the rules are changed. So now the way Dennis Rodman was playing for the Pistons, that had to stop. He had to learn how to play differently. So I don't know. I will tell you that me being a kid, I grew up, I'm older than all y'all. I saw Michael Jordan in the beginning. I remember when he didn't win. And to me, he's the greatest scorer and the most spectacular. He was a great player. You know what I mean? And I can't, but I think that people fucking ride.
How would you compare him and Kevin Durant scoring wise? Because a lot of people are making the argument nowadays that like KD is right up there with him. I think they have a good point.
Kevin Durant can score like Michael Jordan if nobody touches him. If Kevin Durant was in the 80s, he'd be Brad Sellers. Brad Sellers had a lot of talent, and Michael Jordan punked him right off of the Bulls. People don't remember Brad Sellers. Brad Sellers was that 6'10", want to bring the ball up, shoot. Ralph Sampson, another guy, 7'4", bring the ball up, shoot the ball. That they frowned upon shit like that in the 80s. So Kevin Durant, listen, if I can hand check Kevin Durant and I have the kind of strength that some of those guards had, like a Mitch Richmond, even though they're way shorter than KD, does KD get those same shots off? Is KD still in the NBA
I think
right
he would.
now?
I think he would be more of like a traditional 4 if he was playing with the 80
he wouldn't
rules,
even be
man.
playing
He would
anymore.
He would definitely have to put on some weight.
If he'd have played in the 90s, he'd have been out of the league. He would have been out of the league, bro. Because
bro,
that's a stretch,
bro.
No, listen, I'm
You
talking about at this point.
Yeah, I can see him getting hurt.
I'm not saying he would have been a bum. Yeah,
he would have had to put some weight on for sure.
Yeah, because guys like, bro, you imagine you're fucking Charles Oakley bum ass. They stick you out on the wing with Kevin Durant and he bakes you for 50. You know, after about the 20th point, Charles Oakley's gonna T-bone slam him on his back. No, I'm just saying, bro. That's what I mean about errors. That's what I mean about errors. Like them guys, you imagine fucking Anthony Mason just letting Kevin Durant piss on him all game. It's not gonna happen, bro. He'd have been playing. He would have been playing in Europe. Now, if it's player for player and you can't do all that dirty shit and it's just basketball, now you're talking about he's that kind of scorer.
Man, and I try to tell people that too, right? When we're having the Jordan LeBron argument, man, talking like points per game and all that. I tell people now too, bro. I'm like, yo, if Jordan was playing in today's league, bro, he really might average over 40 points a game. Yeah. Because he would, 100%. Like the touch fouls that, James, especially like a couple years ago when James Harden was averaging like 17 free throws a game.
Yeah,
Jordan might have been averaging like 25 free throws a game too,
bro.
Because Jordan got half his points from the foul line. So it's like
Michael Jordan defensively. You know how many points he used to score in the fucking wing? Like we see what Michael Jordan could do in today's NBA by virtue of proxy by Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
right.
Kobe Bryant is, if Michael Jordan is 1A athletically, Kobe Bryant is 1B. Michael could just jump just that much higher than him. Michael's just that quicker than him, and Michael's just that and a little bit stronger than him.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between them. Is Kobe more polished offensively? In some ways, yeah, but it's only because he's blueprint.
Number 8 Kobe was athletic Jordan.
Yeah.
But number 24 Kobe is, when the footwork started to come in, that elbow, that mid post. His footwork and his skill at that point was unparalleled to anybody. But 8 Kobe was playing exactly like athletic Jordan.
Yeah, I used to call him Clone B.
Clone B?
I used to call him Clone B. Yeah, but Kobe Bryant, as far as a jump shooter and a ball handler, I think he's a better ball handler and a better long-range shooter than Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan's mid-range game, he can get his shot at any time. And that's the thing that separates him from LeBron. And I think Kobe and them guys, that's what separate LeBron James all around as a basketball player, I think is an argument for him, but just offensively, bro, he can't compare to them guys. I mean, athletically, he's probably the best specimen we've ever seen come through the sport ever.
With Wilt, right there with Wilt, probably.
Yeah, right. But if you talk about, I gotta have it, I need 2 points.
I mean, the thing is with Bron, bro, like he has his moves, He relies on getting to the cup heavily, playing through the contact, everything. If he posts up, he's either going to do that step back or he's going to do that like half spin move up and under. Where Jordan and Kobe, they had no flaws in their offensive game. They could spin right, they could spin left, they could fade away. Any move they did, You know, and I think Kawhi and DeMar are probably the closest thing we see offensively. But you know,
mid-range,
a moderate.
Will you stop?
Let me finish my point, bro.
Jesus.
Bro, if you look at tape of Kobe and Kawhi's footwork is exactly like Kobe's, bro. He's just more robotic, and DeMar as well. They're moderated versions of Kobe and Jordan. The shots they take, the footwork, they're all the same. Yes, they are, bro.
In the mid-range, I agree.
No.
Bro,
mid-range.
Kawhi's mid-range game isn't exactly like how Kobe's was.
No, it's not as like he tries to do it, but man, that shit, bro. Kobe and Michael Jordan would have fucking had a field day with Kawhi. I think Kawhi Leonard is the most overrated motherfucker I've ever seen. He is so overrated, bro.
Oh no, man.
That fucking I've never seen this guy finish a whole season. How could we compare that?
Because the Spurs ruined his career.
Man, he ruined his own career. That guy's a cupcake, bro. He's young as hell. He's sitting out right now. He's sitting out.
He tore his ACL,
bro. He's a fucking listen, bro. That's the reason why I hate when people are prisoners of the moment. Oh, Kawhi Leonard, putting him on a par with them fucking guys. Kawhi Leonard, to me at this point, bro, is a guy that had.
Bro,
I'm
not saying career-wise. I'm saying their offensive package.
I'm talking about skill set.
He moved. Yeah, he does all the same shit they did.
He's in not the mid-range, as fast, quick, none of that. That's all. Like he tries to study Mike, but he don't have the athletic ability as them. Like his ball handling,
bro. Their mid-range footwork.
He did say just more robotic. So yeah,
bro. You're
both right in that sense.
His footwork and shot selection is almost on par to what 24 Kobe was doing, bro.
I fucking hate Kawhi Leonard. That's why I'm sorry I interrupt you. I hate that guy. That guy is the biggest. Like to me.
Nah, he's frustrating, bro. Like when I watch him, I'm like, yo, you should not be good, but you're killing everybody. And he's very efficient. Like, it's just frustrating to watch him. I'm like, yo, why are you this good?
Yeah, man. I'm like, yo, you don't see what he does the same fucking thing. Yo, all he does is get to his spots. You know who he reminds me of? Bravado gonna remember who I'm talking about. Y'all not. He reminds me of how Mitch Richmond was in his prime. Mitch Richmond would get to his spots in the mid-range game and just fucking kill people. And you'd be like, yo, why can't anybody stop this motherfucker, yo?
Bro, if he didn't play for the fucking Kings, man, so many more people would be talking about him. Like, he just had the misfortune of, like, kind of dwindling away in Sacramento for his prime. You know, if he was on a marquee franchise, he was like the second best shooting guard in the league for a really long time. He was a hell of a player.
He should have stayed on the Warriors. Remember they had Run TMC? He should have stayed on the Warriors, man. That would have been, that would have been the shit, man. Him and Tim Hardaway, man.
Chris Mullin, yeah, they were dope.
I'm sorry, man. I just hate Kawhi. I didn't mean to interrupt you, bro. I hate Kawhi Leonard, yo.
On that note, we will circle back to the NFL conversation that we were supposed to be having. That's why I love these conversations, man. Because you know when Bravado comes on with me and Jonesy, we have to talk hoops. We have to. It's we can't avoid the conversation. It happens.
Mike's the greatest of all time, Bravado. He is. I'm not. He is. We know this. He's the greatest. Okay.
But Jay, let's start with you, man. Actually, let's start with AG. AG, who are your picks to make it to the Super Bowl?
I got Rams Chiefs.
Why?
Chiefs. I think that the 49ers won't be able to keep up with the Rams offensively. And the Chiefs, I just think Joe Burrow's not ready yet. The Bengals aren't ready yet. I think if you give the Bengals maybe another year or two, you know, they'll have a chance. But I see them keeping it close. I think it's going to be two good games. But I just think the Rams and Chiefs overpower their opponents this weekend.
Jay?
It's rough for me because, you know, on paper, the Rams should win that football game. But they haven't really been able to beat San Francisco this year, you know. And normally it's hard for a team to beat another team three games in a row.
Yeah.
It almost never happens, right? So basically what I'm going to go with is the talent level of the defense. Von Miller is going to get after that quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo's a bum. You know what I mean? And they're going to get that push up the middle. Aaron Donald's going to play out of his mind. I got to pick the Rams. Yeah. And I'm also going to pick Kansas City because right now, Melvin Ingram and all of these guys that everybody think are washed up, what people don't realize is when these older guys can see the finish line and they know they can sell out for a couple of games and they don't got to pace themselves to get through the season and they can just pin their ears back and get after the quarterback, Chris Jones and all them guys, they're going to get after Joe Burrow. He has no offensive line, man, and it's going to be really, really hard for him to throw the ball at the level he did when he played them previously. So, I'm going to go with the best rosters. Both of the best rosters left for Kansas City and Los Angeles, and hopefully Los Angeles wins because, God, fuck the Chiefs.
Bravado?
I got to stay with more of the same. I would love to pick Cincinnati in the AFC, but I can't see them getting there for all the reasons mentioned. I think they're a year or two away, and I think the Rams will get there. I think you'll see a better Cam Akers. I think that's kind of he looked horrible, obviously, but I don't think that's going to happen again. And I think they have the pieces to get. If I had to pick, who's going to take the whole thing, I'm going to take the Rams as well.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, man. So the eye test of me just watching them games, right? I gotta say the Chiefs and the Rams. Like the Chiefs, like you said, the Bengals have no offensive line, and the Chiefs' offense is clicking at all the right moments. They looked incredible the last game. You see what Patrick Mahomes could do. He's literally a magician. Like some of the stuff he does, you're just like, bro, like these throws should not be able to get through. The way he sidearms it and stuff, man. He just makes something out of nothing half the time too. And the Rams defense is unbelievable. And I feel like the 49ers have just escaped these past two games. It's not like they won them outright, right? The Packers were up, and they have the shitty special teams. The special teams blew the game for them, and the 49ers won. The Packers should have won that game. Not saying the Packers played well in that game, but I don't think the 49ers should have won that game. And then the Rams barely escaped as well, but their defense does look very, very good. However, there are a couple flaws with them, the run game and everything. So if my eye test based on the football side of things, I would pick the Rams and the Chiefs. But with that being said, I have a conspiracy that I would like to bring up because the NFL is a game like no other.
Oh my God.
So please bear with me for the next couple minutes. Now, as we all know, the Chinese New Year is February 1st. And that is right, everybody. Take a look. The year of the tiger. And a Bengal is in fact
keep going.
A Bengal is in fact a Bengal tiger. And it is the year of the tiger. Now, something that has also been introduced to us in the technology world is the metaverse. Now, in the metaverse commercial, what do we see? That's right, Jay. A tiger eating a buffalo.
Oh, my God.
So, I thought it was going to be the Bengals versus the Bills, man. I think the Chiefs really stole that game.
Oh, my God.
Now, I'd like to bring up another point. Who passed away this year, Jay? That was a big part of your favorite franchise.
John Madden.
John Madden. John Madden's first ever Super Bowl was between the Bengals and the 49ers. Along with that, the Bengals and 49ers also played in the Super Bowl in 1989. Now, 2022 minus 1989 is what, Jay?
I'm not answering you, bro.
33.
I'm not answering
33.
you bullshit.
Now, if you're into numerology, you know what the number 33 means. And if you're not into numerology, look it up.
Bro.
Now, also, the number 4 plus the number 9 equals what, Jay?
12. Nope,
Wrong.
13.
13. The unlucky number 13. And let's be real, people. It's been an unlucky year for all of us. So with that being said, my prediction for the Super Bowl is the 49ers versus the Bengals. Thank you for your time.
Bravado, how do you talk to this guy? How
I'm
do you
seldom
talk
at a
to
loss
this guy?
for words, but I am right now.
Oh, man.
What?
That's phenomenal.
Bro. Yo, I can't believe that you took the time out of your day to come up with that bogus. Yo, we just lost half our subscribers from that bullshit.
Just so everyone knows, on FanDuel right now, 49ers versus Bengals Super Bowl matchup is plus 800 if you're down for Ant's conspiracy.
Listen, don't lose
man,
your
I
rent
looked
money.
it up after you told me earlier.
Don't lose your rent money.
We're going to clip this, and when we come back next week and it's the 49ers versus the Bengals, I want an apology.
Listen, if there's a 49ers versus the Bengals, I will go buy a fucking Randy Watson Jerry curl wig and sing I Believe the Children of the Future on here. Right for everybody. Man. I'm telling you right now. I will be sexual chocolate for the whole show. I will dress up like Randy Watson and everything.
Listen, bro, we got to keep the people entertained, man. Those are my picks. If you're with me, let's go. If not, good luck to you.
Yeah, bro. I don't know, man. This see, you know, the biggest problem with what they're doing is like, yo, you have this. The officiating, it gives people this way where it feels like this shit is a fucking fix, man. I was feeling like that. I was like, dude, when Brady was about to come back last week, I was like, yo, bro, this shit is like, I said, you can't be fucking. I said, if this fucking guy goes, I said, listen, I'm not watching another NFL game in my life if he comes back. I said, this shit is fixed. It's ridiculous, man. But
I think we were all thinking it.
No, I'm saying, were y'all thinking that shit too?
I was thinking it, bro.
Nah, bro. Honestly, when they scored that last touchdown, I was just like, yo, there is no way this is happening again.
You know what's crazy?
Bravado, did you feel like it was a little fixed?
I never all the way believed that they were gonna. I don't know, bro. To be honest, as soon as they lost like Godwin and AB, I just didn't really believe that they were gonna ever get it. Even still in the comeback, I didn't think they were gonna get it done.
Yeah, so I had an underdog parlay with the two underdogs. What was it then? What was the Bucks and the Rams and who else? The Bulls or the Bills. And John Ryan texted me at halftime and was like, I just put my money on the Bucks. What do you think about it? And I was like, you know what? That's a good hedge for that bet. And then they start coming back and shit. I'm like, oh my God, John Ryan just saved me here. But just as a quick shout out to John Ryan. He saw that comeback coming. I'm going to have him on Thursday to talk about the conference championship right here on this channel. So.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. The NFL, bro, it's just wild, bro. But it was a great week of football. I definitely enjoyed it. You guys got anything else? You ready to wrap it up?
Nah, I definitely got the wrap it up machine on.
I'm rooting for your conspiracy. I'm definitely rooting for the Bengals to win. I
appreciate that, man.
I'm rooting for them.
Listen, I bet against Joe Burrow 2 weeks in a row. I failed, so I'm on the wagon, bro. Let's go Bengals. Might have to get tatted. It's like, nah, but
that would be wild.
Now I know the Bengals are gonna lose because you're betting with them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Ed's been the Maloik. Every time he bets with somebody, they lose, man.
Nah, bro. I actually bet on the Rams and the Chiefs this past weekend. So
and you got Georgia, didn't you?
So you won yourself.
I got Georgia as well. I've been back. Yeah, and along with that, where did Joe Burrow go to college?
Go Tigers.
There's the Tiger connection again. I see you.
It's the year of the Tiger, man.
Oh my God.
Bravado, tell the people where they can find you out on the social media, man, and tell them what you're working on.
So yeah, I got trying to release 4 albums this year. I'll be at South by Southwest in March for almost 2 weeks, several events. You can find me at MC Bravado, MCBRAVADO. Same bad name, same bad channel across social media. Appreciate all you guys for having me per usual.
Dope, man. Thanks for joining us. Next time you come on with us, bro, we're going to talk NBA. That might have to be a 5-hour special, clear out your day, because I can promise you guys that conversation will never end. I've known this guy my entire life. We argue basketball our entire lives. And every time we argue basketball, it takes about 5-6 hours until one of us eventually gives up. And it's usually me, because Bravado will not give up. So
can we set some ground rules? Can we set some ground rules?
we might have to get a timer. We might have to get a moderator.
No mention of a past player that's not playing right now. No arguments about Jordan, Kobe, Wilt, fucking Junior Bridgman. I don't know. Like, we're not going to talk about anybody from back in the day. It's only people that are in the league right now who are playing and relevant.
I can agree to that.
Deadline's going to be fun. Deadline's going to shake stuff up. I'd love to, that'll be great. I'm here for it.
The Rock of Gibraltar's been there for how long? Forever. So will Russell Westbrook after the trade, Blake.
All right, yo. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.